You're welcome to the Economy and Politics Show. I'm Mutu Abasi Abasekon. In this edition, we will be looking at 2 weeks since the inauguration of a new government led by President Muhammadu Buhari, the outcome of the National Assembly, the 8th edition leadership elections, and of course, critical issues ahead for this administration. Exactly 16 days since taking over the mantle of leadership in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari has been strategically engaging African and world leaders. With the focus on security and economy, Nigeria's new leader has visited Chad, Niger, Germany, and South Africa under the auspices of regional talks to tackle insurgency, the G7 summit, and the Africa Union summit. He also hosted last week the Lake Chad Basin Commission meeting in Abuja. In all these meetings, Nigerians are hopeful that these visits and engagements will reposition the nation strategically in the global league. Now to the inauguration of the 8th National Assembly. Call it dramatic, incredible, or unprecedented. The emergence of Senator Bukola Saraki, 53 years from Kwara State, and Honorable Ahmed Yakubu Dogara, 47 years from Bauchi State, as Senate President and House Speaker, respectively, has created a new dimension in Nigerian politics. They were not the anointed candidates of the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, but their emergence has made a strong case for internal democracy and inclusive politics in Nigeria. Another chapter to this is the fact that the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, produced the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ekweremadu from Enugu State, who is 53 years old. While the APC still retained the Deputy Speakership slot through Honorable Lasun Yusuf, 54 years from Osun State. With the national leadership now in place, all Nigerians are asking for is an open, transparent, dynamic, and a more patriotic National Assembly, and we expect that this will play out. Now to the agenda ahead for the Buhari administration. Amongst the plethora of expectations, the anti-corruption crusade and the provision of infrastructure are among the critical issues. Nigerians will be expecting the APC government to address, as part of its change phenomenon, these core issues. I first asked the CEO of the Central Securities Clearing Systems Plc, Mr Kyari Bukar, who is also the chairman of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, on how the anti-corruption crusade will shape the political economy if followed through in Nigeria. And here is what he had to say.
The incoming administration has, both during campaigns and even at the moment, continued to say that anti-corruption is one of the, mandates, one of the things that they would ensure that need to be dealt with in Nigeria, corruption that is, and the anti-corruption posture of the leadership of the country is beginning to show. That's why we are having a lot of goodwill outside of Nigeria. And of course, when you want to change a culture, there has to be some basic fundamental 7 steps to change. And one of the things that I always say is that initially you will see resistance, you will kind of get people undermining those, but the leadership has to be mindful to always continually follow up and follow through. That culture, if you want to engrave that culture of cleanliness, transparency, and fighting corruption, you have to punish people who have done something that is unsavory. At the same time, you also have to show by yourself what it means to be clean and transparent, and thereby not go towards ostentatious activities, try to be mindful, prudent in our dealings, and basically encourage and reward hard work. And to me, those are some of the key and basic principles of fighting corruption. The examples that the leadership would set would basically encourage the followership to also be within the same mindset.
Infrastructure is the backbone of any economy, and for Nigeria, it has become essential and necessary. The CEO of Alphamead Facilities, Engineer Femi Akintunde, gives insight to what the Buhari administration should focus on as it seeks to develop this sector. Just watch this.
The immediate one that is staring at us as lacking and really affecting our growth is power, electricity. But I think it may not be the first I will tell the government to focus on and deal with. In order of priority, I think we first of all have to look at an industry that has impact even on the power sector, and that is oil and gas. If you look at our generating capacity today, 70% of our power generation is coming from the fossil base. It's gas. Yeah? So when the power generation is falling behind target because there's no power to no gas to power the engines, it's a problem. And yet we have very, very high level of reserve of oil and gas in this country. You now look at, if we can get the oil and gas infrastructure right, we produce more gas, and then the power sector will work. Yeah? When you have the oil and gas infrastructure in good condition, for goodness sake, since 1956, we do not have any business exporting crude oil in 2015. I keep saying this. It is not acceptable. It does not show adequate care and strategic planning on our side as a nation. We should not export a single drop of crude oil. We should build sufficient refinery here. When we do that, the benefits are enormous. First, we will employ a lot of people. Refinery has tremendous opportunity for employment. We create a lot of employment for our people. We build capacity in the oil and gas sector. We will continue to create the platform for the productive sector to grow. We say that there's so much pressure on Naira today. Why? The balance of trade of Nigeria is lower than what it should be because we are consuming more than we are producing. And what we are saying is that everything we are importing now, if we produce here, we should be net exporter of goods and services. And when we do that, we generate more foreign exchange than we are consuming locally. So what it means is that it is possible for us to have Naira match dollar. If we begin to turn the tide round, export more, import less, then we make more money out there. And when we have dollar in surplus more than Naira, definitely Naira's strength will go up against the foreign currencies. Another thing that is critical in this whole thing is that every time you produce a barrel and you export it, there are so many non-value add services that add to the cost. The cost of transporting, loading it, transporting it from here to Europe or America, it gets there, you generate employment for them there, and then you transport it back here as refined product at times 3 or times 4 the price that at which you took it there. It's something that you can eliminate and have these refined products from petrol to kerosene to diesel. There's no part of petroleum product than waste. So what we are saying is that we need to focus on that. Then power is another thing. Generation, transmission and distribution of power, efficiency has to be introduced there. So when you take care of those two sectors, then we have to also now take a look closely at our transportation system. Transportation is another big problem that we have. We have road networks that have not increased significantly over a long period of time. Look at the bridges. When last did we construct a major bridge in Nigeria? We haven't, and yet we are making money where the recurring expenditure is higher than the capital expenditure of Nigerian government. So we are spending more on things that are not creating asset than we need to. So the size and the cost of running government has to come down so that we can have money to develop capital asset and infrastructure. When we do that, then what you begin to see is that the economy will begin to respond to that value, and productive sector will begin to come up. More people will be employed. When more people are employed, security issues will come down. Social standard will go up. So this is very key, and we must focus on it. You can see how oil and gas infrastructure development can impact power, can impact road construction and delivery, and it can impact social standard of people, and also the economic well-being of everybody will go up. When you take care of all this, don't forget one thing, that it is investors that will bring money here. Our judicial system has to improve. Right now, people don't have confidence in it. If there's any litigation today, I don't know how much comfort people have that if you take somebody to court, you will get justice. and you get it expediently. So government has to take a look at that and develop it. The problem, again, of another area of infrastructure, which is our educational system that government needs to focus on, is the social infrastructure. The problem that Niger Delta has today were problems not created today. These were generational problems. Time that we're supposed to have invested in that region, develop the infrastructure for them, provide quality education. The educational standard will help better understanding. They will contribute more gainfully to the economy and tap better from what they are tapping now from the oil and gas production, which is an asset all of us own. So we have to also take a very close look at our educational system, the value that we're getting out of education, and how we're going to let it impact the development of the future. And that is building resilience for the future. Because when education is good, when people are educated, they will think rightly, they will do the right things, and they will contribute their own quota better. And those are things that I believe we have to begin to look at under this new dispensation.
With a clear anti-corruption crusade and provision of infrastructure, this will form the ingredients of pushing Nigeria forward as a strong economy. And that will be all for this edition of the Economy and Politics Show. You can join the conversation on our Twitter handle at EcoPolNG and log on to our website www.webtvng.com to get updates from our videos. Till next edition when we come your way again, thank you for watching and have a lovely day.